It is the passing of an era here at St. Mark's. We have retired our old Advent wreath. It used to hang on a chain from the highest rafters. That wreath was here when I arrived at St. Mark's. So I blame my predecessor, who was rector here from 1990 until 1993. I knew him from around the diocese, and I got along with him okay. So why did he leave that booby trap here to kill me? It was risky to hang it up. You had to fully extend our extension ladder and rest it against the highest rafter right out in the middle here, away from all the walls. Then you had to climb up, holding the chain, and when you got to the top, you had to lift the chain and the Advent wreath, which was made of brass, with one hand and hook it up there. I couldn't let anyone else do anything this dangerous. So for 23 years, I've done it. I'm scared of heights. And partly I did this to make sure I could keep my fear in check. Thing is, I am now 23 years older than I was when I started here at St. Mark's. Now, I've always promised my wife I would never hang the Advent wreath if I was alone in the building. I would always have a spotter on the floor ready to call 911 if necessary. It was never necessary, and I like to think that's because I am a real man. And when I say that, my wife has a response. So anyway, a year ago, my spotter was Judy Lane, a member of our 8 o'clock congregation. At the end of the Christmas season, she watched me go up the ladder, and she watched me lower the wreath and get down safely. No problem, piece of cake. And she looked at me and she said, "You're not doing that anymore." And I'm talking to Eric. Now, since Eric is her husband and one of the wardens of the vestry, I knew it was all over. So the result is this beautiful new Advent wreath. The vestry used the memorial fund to pay for it. And the memorial fund holds financial gifts that people have given in memory of loved ones who have died. So this new Advent wreath is in memory of a lot of people that we love very much. Now, I'm not saying that the old Advent wreath was trying to kill me, but I think it is a possibility. Something happened in Advent of 2003. It's become part of the lore of our tribe here at St. Mark's. It was the first Sunday of Advent that year, and I had the honor of baptizing Evan Jacobs. Dude, I don't think I could pick you up anymore. It was a fun day, and I got a little distracted. During the 10 o'clock Eucharist, I had my head down, and I was walking a little too fast. My forehead collided with the old Advent wreath on the chain hanging from the rafters. There was a loud, hollow clunk sound, and the wreath swung. I was momentarily stunned. I was seeing stars. The entire congregation, even the little kids, went silent. Kind of said, and my first thought was, I gotta sit down. And my second thought was, I gotta say something funny before they call 911. So we went with that. Once everyone saw I was okay, I was the recipient of some good-natured humor, as you can imagine. The next Sunday, there was a new addition to that Advent wreath. One of my friends wanted to remember how important it is sometimes to duck. Duck. I have good friends. So anyway, now we have retired the old Advent wreath, which may or may not have been trying to kill me. And we have this beautiful new Advent wreath. You know, the Advent wreath dates back to ancient celebrations of the winter solstice. That's the time of year when the sun reaches its southernmost point in the heavens in our northern hemisphere. The days are the darkest. Ancient people, of course, way before electricity and artificial lighting, ancient people longed for the return of the sun's light. And during the season, they would sacrifice the use of their wagon wheels, and they would hang them up in their celebration halls. And they would decorate these wheels with greens and with candles. They were waiting for the return of their sun god. They remembered the warmth, the light, and the life their sun god would bring to them. Well, later, the Christian church adopted this practice, but changed the focus away from the pagan S-U-N, sun god, to the Son of God, Christ. The Advent wreath is used to celebrate the warmth and the lights and the life given to us by the Son of God. We add one light to the wreath each Sunday in Advent, and the candles are either purple or, in some places like ours, blue. Some wreaths have a pink candle for the third Sunday, and that pink candle is in honor of Mary, the mother of Jesus. Each week in Advent, we watch the growing light with hope, and we hear words from the prophets which help us prepare for the coming celebration of the birth of the Christ child, who is the light of the world. In today's reading from Luke's Gospel, we hear words of Jesus about the future being in the hands of God. He said, "Stand up and raise your heads, because your redemption is drawing near." That would have been good advice to me back in the year 2003. Keep your head up and you won't bash it on an obstacle. Keep your head up and you will see what you need to see. Keep your head up and your heart full of hope. The word Advent means coming or arrival. And in Advent we look for the arrival of Christ. The arrival of Christ in the manger at Bethlehem. The arrival of Christ at the end of time or at the end of our own individual lives. And the arrival of Christ in every celebration of the bread and the cup. We live in hope, and hope lives in us. When people have no hope, they are living in darkness. We're waiting. Children are waiting for the joys of the Christmas presents. Grandparents are waiting for the joy of family visits. All of us are waiting for a break in our daily lives as we celebrate a holiday of light and peace and joy. We're waiting. America is waiting for a time of concord and tolerance. The nations of the world are waiting for peace. The poor of our planet are waiting for better days. We're waiting. And when we're waiting, hope is what we need. Hope for more light. Hope for more peace. Hope for more life. Advent is about hope. The Advent wreath is about hope. And the one for whom we wait is our hope. O come, Emmanuel. Amen.
Amen.